Antarctica's sprawling ice sheets, once thought unassailable, are now displaying alarming signs of change, a clear testament to the accelerating impacts of climate change. The ice sheets are among the most essential barometers for understanding global warming, as they reflect the delicate balance between ice accumulation and melting. The recent discovery of streaks in Antarctic ice, narrow but extensive fractures and melt zones that streak across its pristine landscape, is unsettling, as it signals both environmental fragility and the vast, often hidden processes reshaping the planet. Beneath the quiet white expanse of the continent, these streaks reveal a volatile world of shifting ice, warming waters, and intense geological reactions, marking not only local concerns but global ones. These ice streaks in Antarctica are not mere surface features. They reveal the inner workings of glaciers and ice sheets that are in constant motion. The movement of these ice masses toward the sea is a natural process, but climate change has accelerated it, increasing the number and frequency of these streaks. The melting ice creates rivers of water that flow through crevasses and even beneath the ice, creating complex networks that hasten the ice's journey to the sea. This process, called basal melting, is intensified by warm ocean currents that creep underneath the ice shelves, destabilizing their foundation. The delicate balance is tipped by the warming atmosphere, which drives stronger winds that, in turn, drive warm ocean currents closer to the ice. These currents slowly erode the underside of the ice shelves, allowing fractures to expand and widen over time. The fractures, or streaks, across Antarctica's ice sheets are both horizontal and vertical, revealing complex interactions between atmospheric and oceanic warming. Where there once was ice as solid as concrete, now there are hollow channels, the result of melting driven by both warmer winds and ocean currents. These channels create an intricate system of tunnels and gaps that weaken the integrity of the ice sheets, causing them to crack. Some streaks, carved by surface meltwater, span many kilometers, widening as they flow toward the edges of the continent. Under pressure, the streaks deepen and connect with hidden networks below, accelerating basal melting as warm waters and melting pools converge. As these streaks proliferate, they connect, expand, and effectively become conveyor belts delivering ice to the ocean. The increased pace of ice flow adds to sea level rise, which has direct consequences on coastal communities worldwide. The discovery of ice streaks in Antarctica highlights how interconnected global climate systems truly are. The influence of these fractures goes beyond melting ice and sea level rise, as the process affects the continent's own weather patterns. The vast ice sheets in Antarctica are critical to regulating global temperatures and climate patterns. By reflecting sunlight, they keep the planet cooler, but as the ice is lost, the darker ocean absorbs more heat, which then influences ocean currents and, consequently, global weather systems. The erosion of Antarctic ice reduces the planet's ability to mitigate temperature increases, thereby accelerating climate change. This complex feedback loop means that even slight changes in the Antarctic ice sheet's stability have a ripple effect, intensifying climate disruptions elsewhere. The loss of reflective ice surfaces exacerbates warming both locally and globally, pushing us closer to climatic tipping points. The severity of this situation is compounded by the fact that Antarctic ice loss is difficult to reverse. Unlike seasonal Arctic ice, which freezes and melts every year, Antarctic ice represents millennia of gradual buildup. As these ancient ice sheets crack and melt, they are lost indefinitely. The ice sheet's loss is not only a massive contribution to sea level rise, but it disrupts ecosystems, from krill to seals, whose existence depends on stable ice environments. The unique balance that has supported life around the icy continent for thousands of years is eroding, with profound impacts on marine life that could ripple through the global oceanic food chain. Many Antarctic species are adapted to specific ice conditions. As these disappear, so do entire populations, disrupting the ecosystem and food sources that species around the globe rely on. The rise of these ice streaks is not only a signal of imminent changes but also an urgent call for action. Addressing climate change is no longer a matter of preparing for the future but of responding to an unfolding crisis. Researchers and climate scientists are racing against time, deploying sensors, satellites, and other monitoring devices to understand how far these streaks have spread and how fast the ice is moving. This data is vital for refining climate models, predicting future impacts, and providing the necessary information to policymakers for taking actionable steps. However, true prevention of further ice loss requires a shift in how we approach environmental policy, prioritize sustainable energy, and reduce carbon emissions. Without these changes, the icy warning signals emanating from Antarctica may continue unchecked, transforming our planet in ways that we are only beginning to understand. The streaks in the ice are more than just fractures in a distant land. They are reminders of the fragility of the Earth's systems and our collective responsibility to act. The ice streaks cutting through Antarctica are reminders of how rising global temperatures interact with complex, hidden forces beneath the ice. Deep below, geothermal heat seeps upward, adding a new layer of concern as it accelerates melting in ways that are unpredictable and poorly understood. This geothermal activity varies across Antarctica, causing some areas of ice to melt faster than others, further destabilizing the ice sheet and creating weak spots that respond quickly to atmospheric warming. The combination of this geothermal heat with atmospheric and oceanic warming increases the speed of basal melting, forming even deeper streaks that extend down to the rocky Antarctic bed. As the geothermal warmth melts the ice from below, it also creates rivers of meltwater that push the ice sheets forward, acting like a lubricating force that moves the ice faster toward the ocean. This added acceleration from beneath adds another layer of unpredictability, making it harder to model how much more ice will enter the ocean and when. These streaks are also showing up in regions scientists believed would remain stable for centuries. Traditionally, areas like the East Antarctic ice sheet have been thought of as more resilient to climate change due to their thickness and relatively cooler surroundings. However, ice streaks have recently appeared even in these seemingly secure areas, hinting at an unsettling acceleration in the effects of warming. If East Antarctica continues to destabilize, it could add far more to global sea levels than initially predicted. With this new evidence, scientists are revising estimates, suggesting that sea level rise may happen faster than previously thought if these critical areas continue to lose stability. This phenomenon has underscored the urgency of re-evaluating long-term projections and preparing for faster, more severe changes in the near future. The global impact of these streaks goes far beyond the boundaries of Antarctica, serving as a dire warning of the rapid and increasingly unpredictable impacts of climate change. The stark appearance of streaks has created a powerful visual image of Antarctica's transformation and sparked public awareness around the need for immediate action. Satellites and aerial photography provide dramatic footage of the changing landscape, with visible dark lines slicing through the bright white ice, symbolizing the cracks forming in our climate system. Images of these streaks have fueled climate activism, emphasizing the undeniable urgency for immediate action. Public interest has surged, with more people engaging in climate discussions and demanding policy change to address the accelerating ice loss. Scientists and environmental organizations are using these visuals to advocate for stricter emissions regulations, renewable energy initiatives, and increased funding for climate research. The stark visual of these streaks, shared widely on social media and news outlets, has turned the icy phenomenon into a globally recognized symbol of the environmental crisis. Antarctica's ice streaks also have implications for scientific understanding of the feedback loops that could make climate change far worse. As these ice masses move more quickly into the ocean, they create a feedback loop. The exposed ice is more vulnerable to warming temperatures, causing it to melt even faster. This feedback mechanism means that as streaks continue to grow, the ice loss could accelerate at an exponential rate, beyond even the worst-case predictions. Once the feedback loop begins, reversing it becomes nearly impossible, setting off a cascade of effects that could destabilize other parts of the global climate system. Changes in Antarctic ice also alter global ocean circulation patterns, impacting weather and climate worldwide. Warmer, fresher water from the melting ice affects ocean currents like the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, disrupting the movement of nutrients and changing temperatures across the globe, with far-reaching impacts on weather patterns. As the world grapples with the economic and political implications of these developments, the streaks in Antarctica are serving as a case study in the economics of climate change. The costs associated with sea level rise are monumental, affecting infrastructure, agriculture, freshwater supplies, and coastal populations. This rapid ice loss means that nations, particularly those with vulnerable coastlines, are being forced to consider the heavy financial burden of climate adaptation and resilience strategies. Countries are faced with the prospect of constructing seawalls, redesigning urban infrastructure, and even relocating entire communities, which comes at an enormous expense. The streaks in Antarctica have therefore raised awareness about the long-term financial implications of delayed climate action. The cost of inaction, compounded by the growing rate of Antarctic ice loss, is now becoming a critical point of discussion among world leaders, scientists, and economists alike, highlighting the urgent need for immediate investments in climate resilience and mitigation measures.